Okay, hi, welcome everyone. Just want to make sure you can hear me clearly. Thumbs up. Yeah, awesome. Welcome to our first experiment on this DIWM workshop at Expert. If you have not understood DIWM, for a lot of people who are joining in first from different companies, DIWM is one of those endeavors which is we call it as "Do It With Me." Uh, and in this idea, a lot of people from some of the people from your company have sort of been attending our sessions on a Saturday. And one of those biggest feedback I get from people is how do we sort of think about executing a lot of these learnings. So one of those thoughts as an experiment we decided to run is how about allocating dedicated time for doing that, and that's what we want to test in this workshop session today. Two, three things. So first, hello to a lot of people who might be new who are in other companies. I don't know if you might be getting to see our videos what have been covered over Saturdays, but this is one of those opportunities for you to sort of also put a lot of those videos in practice. Uh, if you notice, there was sort of this prerequisite for doing this workshop. It was basically number one was we required you to watch a video specifically on the topic that we were supposed to cover. So if you can just give me the thumbs up reaction. I want to make sure everyone has seen the video. And if because yeah, so awesome. Yeah, so because I also want to set that pre-context very, very clearly. If you haven't seen the video, chances are this is not a good session to be attending. And why I say that is because we want to sort of build on top of that video in terms of having you execute a lot of those things, right? So we don't want to sort of cover similar questions which have been asked in the video before, but we want to build on top of that to say, let's say, do this for your own company. Okay, so now just the protocol which we want is because you watched the video, we actually selected those who actually gave wrong answers in our forum. We sort of did not invite them because again, for the same reason is we want to make sure people have watched the video to doing that. By the way, just out of curiosity, was watching the video helpful? Yeah, great. Uh, and also having watched the video, another way of you doing this, uh, did you realize a lot of gaps in what you were doing versus now what you can think about this open up a lot of new ideas, right? Okay, great. So I love to see a lot of nodding heads because that's the idea. So now if that is happening, let's take it one step further, right? Let's also take it to now give you a little dedicated time towards applying this to your company. So on that context, I'm going to introduce you to the person who was behind the video in our last cohort, Maanav from Blue Digit. Manav, welcome to Expert. And if you've seen the video, you already know Manav's background. So I don't want to go in detail. He's an expert on doing this for us for the second time. And two, three requests. This is a very, very hands-on workshop. So we will be really requiring to maintain time. And if you require to maintain time, please maintain protocol and time. So again, whenever you have a question, raise hands, and then we'll sort of ask you to unmute and then answer the question. Don't go out of turn. And use chat because a lot of things with Manav, there's another person in this room who will also be assisting. Angar, I think, will be assisting us with answering a lot of those questions. So you might be putting those questions on chat whenever you have doubts, and someone from the team will sort of even answer that, right? So we want to cover that. We don't want to break the flow, and we want to do something fun and exciting today. So that being said, maybe we can do a round of applause for Manav, a little show of hands, and Manav, welcome to Expert. Do you want to share the screen now, Manav, and then I'll just stop sharing? Yeah.
I'll share my screen now. Yeah.
Awesome. And another hack is whoever does not turn on the video, when you turn on the video, you are more likely to be more productive. So it is for your own benefit to turn on your own video to make sure this is as valuable and you're paying attention. So great.
Yeah. Cool. Hello, everyone. So as Sharad has already spoken about that, this particular workshop and this particular session is going to be more hands-on. And we are basically going to deep dive into what we had discussed in the video itself. So this particular workshop will be focused on optimizing your content mix and also, trying our hands at, putting that entire content mix through the structure, through the funnel that we've spoken about in the video as well. So I'll start with my introduction and I'll go through it quickly because I think you guys have seen the video. I'm the co-founder at the Blue Digit, and Blue Digit is, one of the very few independent Facebook preferred partner agencies. I myself am an engineer from Delhi College of Engineering, and I've also completed my MBA from IIM Kozhikode. I have also had a very short stint with the BCG. However, that was something which was quickly realized not for me. Today with me, I also have Angad from my team. Angad leads the strategy for Blue Digit. So all the accounts that we handle, Angad basically leads the strategy on those accounts from the performance point of view. and he'll be helping me today with all the questions and adding his own inputs to what we are doing today. um, I also wanted to briefly touch upon this program that we are a part of. So this is Facebook Managed Partner Program, where basically we work with Facebook to help a lot of SMEs, a lot of startups in optimizing their spends on all Facebook family of apps, be it Facebook, Instagram, and now we are also expanding that to WhatsApp business integration. So as a part of this program, while we have mentioned a few notable brands that we've worked with, overall we've worked with over 500 brands within this program in the last 2 years, and I think some of the brands which are a part of the cohort were also or are currently a part of this program as well. Right. So we will quickly have a refresher on what we had discussed in the video with respect to what exactly is a funnel, and what it means to have a funnel based on user journey, right? So we'll have a quick refresher on that, and then we'll do a deep dive on the content mix, right, that we had touched upon in the last video. We are sort of we are basically going to go deeper into examples of, let's say, what does a product benefit creative look like versus what a product USP creative looks like, and then we'll break out into breakout rooms for the actual hands-on experience on the workshop. So to start with, there are if you want to start from the basic, there are 3 types of audiences on Facebook, right? There are 3 ways that you can target people. First is you can target them basis interests or basis demographic. This is the most straightforward way of doing it, where you are either targeting based on their age groups, where they work, their education, their interests, all of that. That's the first thing that usually a brand would start with. The second is custom audiences, which is one either based on some database that you've uploaded on Facebook, which is usually a database of phone numbers, or this is basis action that people have taken. So basically, people who have interacted with your brand in the past 30 days, 180 days, so on and so forth. Or for example, your website visitors, or people who have added to cart, initiated checkout, things like that. And then there are lookalikes of custom audiences, which is basically to say that the with lookalikes, what happens is that Facebook treats your custom audience as the core and builds a larger audience around it. Basically, Facebook bases the many inputs that it has on its users, says he tries to create an audience which would have similar attributes to your custom audiences. So lookalike audience basically is a larger set, and lookalike audiences, the major difference with respect to a custom audience is that lookalike audience would usually not have had any interaction with your brand. So this is basically new audience. This is basically top of the funnel audience. So now, basis these 3 types of audiences that you've got on Facebook, the most commonly followed strategies that we've seen, not just with brands who are starting off, but even with a lot of time, even with bigger brands who have larger spends and who are maybe even expanded into international markets, we have seen these common strategies that are followed, which is one, that there are only conversion campaigns running on broad interest-based audiences, which works well for a while, because if you're targeting a very broad audience, you're bound to get some conversions out of it. So again, and I want to emphasize on this, that we're not saying that any of this is wrong, but these are the different strategies that we've seen, which what we've usually experienced is that these strategies work for a while and then they start faltering. And why that happens is something that we've discussed in the video also, and I think we'll briefly touch upon that towards the end of the presentation as well. The second is that, again, only conversion-focused campaigns on broad interest-based audiences and custom audiences. So on website visitors, on initiate checkouts, and things like that. Third is traffic and awareness ads on broad audiences or lookalike audiences, and conversion campaigns on custom audiences. Again, focusing on top of the funnel and then focusing on the bottom. But all of these strategies, while they're good on their own, work for a while, they are not really a full funnel strategy, and there are drawbacks to these, and which is what we'll touch upon later. But what is it that we want to achieve, right? So these are the commonly followed strategies, but what is it that we want to achieve by doing all of these activities that we do? is that we want to, one, create a structure of audience segments based on the user journey, which is what we had discussed in the last video, top, middle, and bottom. Second, we want to ensure that we have a healthy content mix with as many elements in that content mix as possible, and as many elements as are relevant to us as well. Third is interact with each part of the funnel with communication which is customly tailored for them. And then finally, keep testing new content and audience combinations to keep optimizing on what we have. Again, we'll briefly touch upon the funnel structure as well. Top of the funnel basically means audiences which have had no interaction with our brand in the past. So these can be broad interest-based audiences or also lookalike audiences. Once you sort of subtract the custom audience, the core from the lookalike audience, then the entire lookalike audience set also becomes top of the funnel. The second is middle of the funnel. These are audiences which have interacted with the brand but have taken a low intent action. So these are these are audiences who have, let's say, interacted with our content on Instagram or Facebook, or have watched our videos to a certain extent. These are the people who have interacted with the brand but have not shown any high intent action. And the final bottom of the funnel are audiences who have shown high intent action. And by high intent, we mean that they have visited the website multiple times, or they have initiated checkouts, or they are past purchases, but way in the past. Let's say for somebody who's purchased 3 months ago, and now they can buy again from the same brand. So these are audiences which are at the bottom of the funnel. I'm not going to deep dive into the different types of audiences that would fit into this, like where would lookalike or custom would go, because I think that is covered in the video. But right now, what we'll do is we'll straight away deep dive into the content mix. So when we spoke about the content mix in the video as well, these were the broad categories of content that we spoke about, right? There was product benefit, there was product USPs, user testimonials, offers, displaying the range of products, a flow of problem to solution, and also talking about ease of use of your product. So while we touched upon the categories in the video, what we'll do right now is also go through some examples of what these creators look like. I have tried to keep a healthy mix of different types of brand within this. So yeah, I think you'll get a fair idea of what we mean when we say a product benefit creative, right? So, okay, what is a product benefit creative? Basically, it's a creative which answers the what. What is the product? What does it do? What benefits does it have? So that's what we are basically talking about when we're talking about a product benefit video. So for example, the first example, which is from Fool, and I think the team is here as well. Now they're talking about this new offering, which is the Oud Agarbatti, and they're simply basically listing out the benefits, right? Unique blend of aromas used across cultures for purification, XYZ. So all those benefits are basically established in one creative. Now this is a typical what a typical product benefit video creative would look like. I have another example here, which is from Be Bodywise. Let me just show you that. Just give me a minute. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, just give me a minute. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Now I can see. Cool. So this is an example of a product benefit video by Be Bodywise. Again, the product is right at the center, and what we are simply talking about is the benefits. A gummy a day keeps fat away, and in the initial part as well, you will see assist metabolism, helps curb appetite, improve gut health. Again, simply just talking about what does the product do. I have another example from Kama Ayurveda. Again, product at the center, and you're listing down the benefits. So this is the most straightforward way of talking about your product. There, you're just talking about what it does, what is the benefit. Next, we have product USPs. Product USP related creatives are creatives which do a little bit of deep dive into what's behind these benefits, right? How is your product different from others? how does your product actually deliver the benefits that it does. So you'll see this example from Happy Jars, another company which is within the cohort as well. I'm sorry, are you guys able to hear the music?
No, actually, I think Manav, you need to reshare and then share sound. There's a button when you share your presentation, then you will be able to hear the music. So from
Okay, let me just do that. Just give me a minute.
when you just share your screen, no, there's a button, there's checklist to share sound. So we'll be able to hear that. Though it's also important to know that ads need to be made without audio in mind, because
Yeah.
I was thinking there's an emphasis to also demonstrate.
So, what I'll do is I'll just put on my speakers. I think that should also work. Okay. Are you able to hear it now?
Well, we can hear from your speaker, I think, but it's okay. I think the idea that's yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So basically, the video says that this is what a peanut butter should look like. Does your peanut butter look like this? Very straightforward, but talks about how a Happy Jars peanut butter is different from others. Something that the whole truth food does a lot, talking about their ingredients, is basically this way. Just talking about what's behind the product, and they usually focus on the fact that whatever is on the label is what is in the product. So for example, with the peanut butter with the dates, there are just peanuts and there are dates. So again, another way of showing what's behind the product. How is your product different from others? This can expand into different verticals in different ways. For example, a mattress company can talk about how their mattress is, let's say, for example, I saw with Flow mattress, right? They talk about how the mattress itself hydrates you with aloe vera, or how there is zero partner disturbance on this mattress. So these are USPs. This is where you're talking about how your product stands out from the competition. So yeah, all of these are product USP videos. Then another very interesting content bucket is range of products, and why this is important is by showing the range of products that you've given the user multiple entry points. If he's not interested in, let's say, peanut butter, but almond butter is something that he would want to include in his diet, you have given him that option now. So I'll show you one example, which is a video, and then two examples which are carousels. So this is another video from Happy Jars. So within one video, they have basically touched upon all their different variants that they've got. Now, this is an ad from Akiva. They've got Ayurvedic shots for different purposes. So I'll just zoom in a little bit. Yeah. So you can see that, within this carousel, by the end of it, you see the various shots that they've got and what are the benefits of these shots. So immunity boost, weight loss, skin glow, hair nourishment. And depending on, who you are as the user or what you are looking for from a product like this, they have given you multiple options to sort of make an entry into the product line. And another example from one of the cohort companies, and this is from Fabbox. Again, Fabbox has a wide range of products, from nuts to dried berries to healthy chips, and all of that is basically shown in a carousel. And they've also added this top layer where addictive dessert is on but high sugar is off. So they're also basically in the same breath talking about what are the advantages of each of these individual products. And one thing that you can do with carousels, and why carousels work really well with, especially with the range of product creatives, is that each of these individual links can actually land the user to the product that they are interested in. So all of these links can land them to the product page. In some cases, you can also take them to the category page, depends. Those are experiments that you can run. But yeah, that's where carousels really help in this. Now, problem to solution creative is basically where you first state the problem that the user might be facing, and then present your product as the right solution for it. Usually, it would start with a question. So for example, if you look at this creative from Happy Jars, starts with craving chocolate. Uh, Eat this one every day. Why? Because it has got 8 grams of protein per serving, 74% less sugar than chocolate spreads. So get yours now. So basically, a problem has been stated, and then the product is shown as the solution to that problem. Be body wise. Another example is, so here they're talking about dry and dull skin. So it starts with the question, tired of dry and dull skin, shows the ingredients with body wise skin health gummy, and then you've got different benefits to it as well. In my opinion, this is a little fast for somebody to comprehend. You'll have to watch it multiple times to actually get everything out of this video. But yeah, this is another way of presenting your problem to solution creative. One more example I just wanted to show, because this is something which is not really posing a question, but then it has the keyword which would sort of target the right users, right? This starts with premature graying can now be stopped and reversed without side effects, and then simply introduces the product. Video is a long one, talks a lot about what the product has to offer, but this is an example where the problem is not really stated as a question. Simply that keyword being highlighted properly is going to catch your users' attention. So if this ad is targeted to the right group, right, to males of a certain age group, or let's say to a lookalike audience of people who've already bought this product, the premature graying in the beginning is bound to catch my attention, right? And then I might be interested to see the entire video. So this is how a problem to solution creative works. Now, ease of use or assimilation creators are basically focused on how easy it is to use a product and how easily it would fit into the lifestyle of user. You can look at this example from Flow Mattress. So because work from home and even studies are going on from home, read more in bed without worrying about back pain, right? So right now, this is the lifestyle that we are following, right? Working out of bed or even studying on the bed. By this imagery, they have created a connect in the first go, and then spoken about how their product sort of solves it. Just a minute, yeah. Then there's this example from Country Bean. Very good example of how ease of use creative works. They're talking about the filter coffee. And how quickly you can just create a creamy cup of filter coffee with the product. So they're highlighting the fact that you can do it in 30 seconds, and it doesn't get easier than this. Basically, what we are trying to do with these creators is trying to reduce the barrier of entry. Another example, and this one is from Beyond Water. Beyond Water, again, a cohort company.
Yeah, this will not be understand because we're not hearing audio, but it's okay.
Oh, you can't hear the audio, sorry. All right, so again, Beyond Water has done a lot of ads like this, and I'm sure you might have come across some of these, where they're just simply talking about how easy it is to use the product. So this is how a ease of use or assimilation creative would work. User testimonials are very straightforward. You take out reviews from your existing users and put it across in a creative format. But one thing that we've noticed is that while static user testimonials work well, video testimonials take your game to another level. So video testimonials are not necessarily where you've taken static reviews and sort of put them into a video, but people actually talking about your product in a video in a very natural format. That really works. And a good example is of Be Bodywise, where they have, and again, you won't be able to hear the video, but if you'll just look at the video, you'll see that they have basically compiled a number of users, and these users are basically talking about how this product has changed their life. And again, another great thing about this video is that while they're speaking, the text shows you what they're talking, because when you're designing for Facebook and Instagram, you have to take a sound off approach first. So yeah, this is an example. There is another example which is basically where um, uh, a number of, okay, the link is not working, but basically where in the second example there are a number of static creatives which have been made into a video. It works, but ideally somebody speaking about the products works better. So these are basically testimonials, static and video. Then you've got offers and coupons. These can be generic offers as well, where there are offers which are running all across your product range, or there can be specific coupons as well, which can be targeted towards users which are, let's say, at the bottom of the funnel. Somebody who has initiated checkout, or somebody who has uh, uh, added to cart but have not made the purchase. You can show them a particular coupon and sort of convert them. Right.
Yeah, so just let's pause here, Manav, first, and let's also take some 1-2 questions. So I think Karan has a question, and we also want to make sure that they've gotten this process clear before we move to the workshop. Yeah? Yes. Yes, Karan, you want to unmute yourself and ask? Yeah.
Yeah. So like Manav, like I wanted to ask if if the brand is like catering to a luxury audience or has a luxury product, should they still do like testimonial ads and all of that? And like, does that go against the brand, the luxury brand's philosophies and all of that? So is there anything would you want to suggest on that?
So to be honest, Karan, the structure that we are talking about here is a structure that is trying to be exhaustive. It's a structure that is trying to cover as many types of creatives that as you can have. I would not necessarily say that you need to have all of these, right? And as a brand, if you have taken a stance that, or for example, as you're saying, it's a luxury brand and user testimonials do not really work really well here. That makes sense. For example, when I was looking at examples for from Country Bean, I realized that a product benefit or a creative which is answering the what does not really apply to an instant coffee brand, right? Because instant coffee is instant coffee. Where they will need to start from is the product USP, how this instant coffee is different from others. So there can be uses and cases where you would say that one particular category of creatives does not work for my brand, and that's absolutely fine to say that. What is more important is that whatever categories are applicable to your brand, you're utilizing all of them, and then you're also putting them across to the right audience. That is more important rather than having all of it.
Also, I mean, just to jump in, Karan, the idea of a user testimonial is to establish trust, right? I mean, so basically, someone at the middle part of your journey decide not to purchase. The user testimonial is to help demonstrate trust. Now, whatever way you can demonstrate trust for someone to build that, to make that purchase from you is the idea of a testimonial could be one of those versions for that.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Great. Thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Abhishek and then Ajit. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. So Manav, my question is actually, following up what he was just saying, that for a lifestyle brand, not necessarily only luxury, it is tough to get into those product benefit things, right? At the end of the day, it is the design language which speaks to the customer. So most of the examples that you have given, I was not able to comprehend, okay, which of these would probably suit us as a jewelry or a lifestyle brand. So any suggestion on that what should be which of these do you think would make sense for us? Because I was not able to think of anything.
I completely get your point. So for example, if you're a lifestyle brand and you feel there is no really there are no questions around what that need to be answered, right? Then your entry point would begin at product USPs, right? For example, if I say that I have a brand of t-shirts which is focused on, let's say, Marvel characters, and I've got these designs which are my USPs, then my top of the funnel or my first contact with any user would be talking about how these designs are unique, right? Or how my product is better. So I completely get that a lot of cases product benefits does not really fit, but in that case, then you will have to have a lot more creatives and a lot more communications focused around the USPs, because then you need to set your brand apart, right? So when we're talking about USPs, USPs can be in many ways and can come in many shapes and forms. It can be about your unique designs. It can be about the fact that you are a brand which gives the most value out of somebody's buck. You are a brand which delivers quicker than anybody else. Product USPs can be a lot of things. If you're not answering the what, you need to answer the how. How is your brand different from others?
Also adding to Manav, you're basically speaking of a jewelry brand, right? If I got you correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what Manav is saying, there's another brand for reference. If you're wanting, I've just shared a link in the chat. This is a brand called Jiva. So all the ads that they've been running them very successfully. So you can take inspiration from this brand as well in terms of the type of ads that can be looked at.
I mean, also, I think at this point, if everyone is not aware, there's a Facebook ad library, whichever competitors or category people you have, it's very easy to sort of look up what are those ads that they're running as a competitor. So it also opens up your minds to understand which you should do or not do, right? I mean, sort of get that perspective. It's pretty easy to access, and maybe we'll share the link at the end. Okay, awesome. Two more questions from Ajit and Contribute, and then we move forward to the workshop. Huh?
I'm just going to broaden Abhishek's question when it comes to the apparel industry. Maanav, you said USPs, but it's very difficult for a garment to show its USP because the garment itself, the design itself is the USP. But in case we want to communicate, not just the image, we do whatever we can in that image, but in case we want to communicate something more than that, because I'm sure you have some garment, we're into athleisure, into sportswear, but I won't restrict it just to that. I'll restrict to any kind of apparel. If since you, what do you feel is, how do we highlight our USPs or our how do we show that our product is different except for just the picture? It's
so
on the Abhishek has asked.
So two things, I think, from a personal question, Ajit, anyways, from a workshop, Maanav will jump into rooms. Okay, so if it's a very specific question, he'll sort of jump in and answer. If you don't mind, we'll not be able to do the workshop then. We answer.
Quite a few of us are into apparel. That's why
so Maanav, do you want to take that question now?
I can just quickly just answer this. So, see, ideally in a situation like this, right, where there is no way of communicating apart from a picture, I would say that you would need to hammer down. So first, you would need to distill that what are the USPs that you want to communicate. You can talk about the quality of fabric. You can talk about the unique designs that only you have. You can talk about, for example, let's say it's only us who does Marvel characters. It's only us who does, let's say, an anime character. Whatever those USPs are, first you need to distill those. Secondly, then these need to be hammered down so that every creative, while has a few pictures, has these pointers mentioned in the captions, mentioned, let's say, at the bottom of the carousel, mentioned even on the creatives, where whatever USPs you've been able to distill down is hammered all across your ads. So because it's difficult to create distinction in certain I would say categories, it is important that whatever distinction you have, you hammer it down in every ad that you're doing for top and middle of the funnel.
Yes. I would just like to add, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter to the customer. Our USP, to a great extent, in this say particular category, again, sorry, Sharad, but it doesn't matter. Like organic cotton, how much ever you tell customers, we can do this later. I'm really sorry to this thing, but it doesn't matter. Oh, any category where it doesn't matter to the customer. How then do you project this? It's a little bit of a tricky.
It's a tough question. There is a question where if your product differentiation doesn't exist, right, between the products, then how do you think about that? I think maybe Angad, do you have a quick answer to that?
Yeah. So two things there. See, one, if you're in an apparel industry, the look and feel of and the SKUs are huge, right? So you want to showcase all the possible range of products that you want, and at the same time also showcase the USPs, because by the end of the day, in this particular, in a highly competitive market, unless you don't stand out with a particular USP, it is very difficult to differentiate yourself if you are a recently new brand. Right. So the best way to go about it, especially in a case of high USPs, what Maanav is also saying is also to, launch from dynamic product ads on Facebook particularly. So having frames, your every category, for example, if you're into sports category, so you can create those frames and link them to your catalogs, under which category what will happen is that on those particular ads that are being showcased, say only for sports t-shirts, if it is coming, so you have one particular frame that is showcasing for that category. So dynamic ads will automatically keep showcasing the kind of creatives that your audience wants to see with frames around it. So the carousel is dynamic, and automatically if somebody is interested in say for example fast fashion kind of stuff, unko wo wale ads aayenge. If somebody is interested in sports apparels, in jackets and stuff, so those kind of ads will be shown to them. So creating the right feed with the right frames will help you solve for this particular problem.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think we can take this up in the breakout room as well.
Okay.
Let's
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Country Bean, quick, huh? Yes. Sorry, you're muted. We can't hear you though. You want to put your question in chat maybe? That'll be easier. Okay. Meanwhile, Maanav, why don't you now let's go through workshop structure. Yeah.
Yeah. So right. So as you were saying, we will basically now go out into breakout sessions. There will be a worksheet. I think we will put the link to the worksheet in the chat as well. What we are trying to achieve within these breakout sessions is that one, we are trying to categorize our content, right? You might already have, a big enough content pool to choose from. But what we are trying to do within this breakout session is we are trying to put those content pieces into the categories that we have discussed about. Or if you don't have a big enough pool of creators to choose from, then what you need to do is that you need to decide that, okay, I need to have certain creators made under XYZ categories. And these will be the talking points of these creators. I'll just show you how the worksheet also works. The second part of the breakout session within this 30-minute session has to be focused on distributing these content pieces throughout the funnel. So once you've decided that, okay, these are the talking points that I'm going to basically have in my content mix going forward, the next thing that you need to do is decide that which of these would go on top, middle, or bottom as you would differentiate. And finally, once we are out of the breakout session, we'll have an open discussion on what were the challenges, or basically a summary out of what we achieved right now. Now, looking at the worksheet, so this is the worksheet that you will have to work with. What this worksheet has, basically, the first column is category of creators. So you will see product benefits, product USPs. There is explanation for your reference. Whatever we have discussed right now, you can see that in the worksheet as well. I have put one creative reference from each of these categories for you to just have a quick view and have a refresher always at hand to know that what does a product benefit creative look like, for example. Now, where you need to put in your inputs are columns which are basically talking point, caption ideas, and creative type, right? So if you already have a creative, you'll basically say, okay, the talking point of this creative is, how my peanut butter is smooth and creamy. The caption idea is that this is what your peanut butter should look like, but does it? And then the creative type is video, right? If you don't have a creative and you want to basically have a creative under this category going forward, you might say, okay, the talking point will be, the protein, the amount of protein that is there in my product. The caption idea basically says broadly what you're going to talk about within your caption. It does not have to be exact. It just has to be a guiding sort of framework that, okay, this is what I'm going to say in the caption. And then what will the creative type look like? Will it be a video? Will it be a static? Will it be a carousel? How would you want to go about this? So first focus on these three columns: the talking point, the caption idea, the creative type. And once you are done with this, once you have a fair hold of this, you can then look at the next three columns and decide that, okay, whatever we have populated in these columns, where we think that they would go in terms of top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. Right. So I think the link will be put in the chat. You need to create a duplicate of the sheet and then do your own work within the sheet. How ideally we would...
Maanav, just to make sure, everyone make sure it's clear about the sheet. So one is link has been shared in the chat. If you realize, we basically want you to work on now thinking of your content ideas for each part of the funnel. right? And you don't need to have a perfect answer, but the idea is sort of start thinking on what could I talk about in this idea of a category of an ad, and then also assign where does it in the funnel that is falls under. So I just want to make sure there's any questions or thumbs up here, or any questions on the using of the sheet. Thumbs up, sounds good, clear, no confusion. Perfect. Yeah, Manav. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So within the breakout session, and this is again a suggestion that ideally you should spend the first 20-25 minutes on categorizing your content, and then the last 5 to 10 minutes on distributing this across the funnel, like where would you want to use this? And then we'll have our discussion once we are out of the breakout room. But this is a broad guideline. If you think that you can be done with your categorization within the first 15 minutes, that's up to you. But yeah, this is a broad guideline of how you should be spending these 13 minutes. And again, as Sharad was saying, the objective here is not to create a perfect content funnel in these 30 minutes, because that's not possible to do in 30 minutes. But at least have a broad idea of what categories we are going to hit, what are the broad captions, or what are the talking points, or what are the broad captions these creators would have, and where we would want to fit this. So again, do not stress too much on making a perfect structure, but have a good enough idea of what all you want to sort of have a tick against. And anyways, see, everything about creatives and audience mix is about iterations. So this will be a good starting point for sure. But anyways, this will keep on sort of evolving once you put it into practice. So don't stress a lot on making it perfect. Make sure that we are done within the time limit, because then there is a certain part that we have to go through within the presentation as well. So yeah, I think that's it. I think we can sort of break out into the rooms.
So yeah, 1 second. So any questions? So no.
Yeah, I mean, has the link been shared on WhatsApp group? Because I think I joined a little late. I was in another meeting.
This link is just shared in the chat in the Zoom here. If anyone hasn't gotten, I'll just share it again. This is the link. So you can just click on it and make a copy of the sheet. Maanav, just let's go to the next sheet. I'll just talk about the next slide, please.
Yeah.
So 2 things. I'm going to open breakout rooms. So each company has been assigned a room, right? And you'll get a room number. So group 1 is room 1, right? So choose your room to make sure that all of you from the same company are in the same room. Meanwhile, so I'll be opening the rooms. If you still have any questions which are unanswered, you can stay here before joining your room, and then we can answer that. Maybe Maanav can answer that. But I want to make sure other people are now getting started on working on this, right? So can I get a thumbs up reaction? All is good. So the task is fill up that sheet, make a copy, start filling that up. When you start filling that up, start assigning the funnel where it's located, right? And I think when you will do that, a lot of questions will come in. So I want to make sure there's enough time to answer those questions, having you done that exercise for us, okay? So I'm going to open the rooms right now. You must have gotten a chance to choose your rooms. So make sure you choose the room based on your number, right? As per the as per the slide above here, right? So because each company is only in 1 room. And once you do that, I think you'll be coming out of the breakout. If you have a question, stay here and choose your room a little later. Ask Maanav the question, or you raise your hand and we can answer that also. If you still don't have a question, so you can raise your hand here and we can answer. For the people remaining, you have a question, or I hope you got a chance to choose your room based on your number. If you don't, you can put on chat and I can help you.
How are we choosing? I can see.
Zareen, right? You'll see a name for Zareen. Your room number 38. Just join 38.
But how do where is the option to choose?
I think everyone gets automatically. I can assign.
Breakout rooms. I see it's under breakout rooms. Okay. I'm glad I asked. Got it.
Perfect.
So how do I click on it?
Just
Join.
38. Just 238. So that's your room. Yeah. We continue. You have a question?
Yeah, we can't find a room.
Why is it not in the list? Let's hear. Yeah, group 10. That's room number 10.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Manav, now I think basically, are we on time? I think we are on time. 5:30. 5.
45 हो गया.
5:40 we had a plan to start the breakout, so it's okay. 5:40. Yeah.
ठीक है.
This breakout room, I think in the slide is in 45. I think we'll have it for 30 minutes.
अच्छा, oh, okay. हाँ, मेरे ख्याल से वहाँ 45 minutes लगा.
30 minutes, but ठीक है, मैं तो उसमें.
अच्छा, we can send messages to the breakout rooms, right?
Yeah, I can send. You can also broadcast message. देखो, बताओ क्या बोलते?
हाँ, just ask them to make a duplicate of the sheet.
वो तो होगा ही.
I'm not sure.
They have edit access.
हाँ, but I received a request from somebody for an access, so I just want to reiterate that just duplicate the sheet.
Are able to make a copy of the sheet.
Sharad, I'm not able to join the. I'm sorry, I'm not able to join the breakout room.
So, okay, Sagar, what's your room number? You tell me.
I'm sorry, the network issues. I couldn't figure it out. I have joined room number 2, I guess.
I think Sagar, yours is 28. Orakura, right? Yeah, Orakura's is 28.
Sagar, maybe I don't see your name to assign your room yet. So do you want to leave and come back, because I don't see where it is here. Maybe आपको already assign किया हुआ है. Let me just check एक बार कौन सा. You are in this room? Sure. आपको क्या? नहीं. एक second. Sagar Orakura में.
Sharad, quick question. Sorry.
Yes, tell me.
What is RP1, RP2? I'm getting only one ad when I click on that.
Sorry, you're getting only one? What?
I can see only one of the ads when I click on the, like every, for example, one sec, I'll just go back to it. Yeah, see, you've written RP1, then the RP, what is RP2?
No, so those are the serial numbers for your ads. The reference is only one. There's only one reference.
Okay, there's only one reference, right? Okay.
Yeah. The RP1, RP2 are serial numbers, or basically unique identifiers for each of the talking points that you'll put there. And it has a use later, so that's why those serial numbers are.
So right now we just fill RP1 generally. What we
so if you have, let's say, if you have only one talking point, then you fill it against RP1. If you have two, you fill the next one against RP2.
Okay.
So there's nobody else in my room. It's just me. Can I get some sort of help? I'm a little lost here.
So I'll put Maanav one by one in all those rooms to jump around. Okay? Because then he'll be able to give time to people. If you have a question here, why don't you ask here?
No, I have no question. It's just that, sorry, when you guys were talking, I got an important call and I missed the last 10 minutes of what you guys were saying. So I'm completely lost.
So there's a sheet which is shared in chat. You need to fill that up with your ads. Okay, so I'm going to put it back in. You see that worksheet link? Just make a copy of it. Manav, why don't we share the screen numbers again for the room so that we
I'll just do that.
I know my room number is 32, that I figured. So, okay, you help me. Thank you.
Yeah, I just fill that sheet up. Yeah, Aarti. Yes, Deepa, I think everyone has to join the room unless until they have a question here to ask.
I have to go to 28 room, right, Sharad?
28 room, yes, Sagar. You can choose.
I'll just display that.
I'm the only one in my room because there's nobody else from my team and I don't know how to join the room. So I'm just I'm the only one.
You can mute yourself and work, no problem.
That's what I'm done. I'm just muting myself. I'm doing my work.
That's okay. Rakshat goes hanging. Can you send the pop up again? Rakshat. Abhika Jewels is where? Abhika good 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Get this here. Suraj, Jeet. So Manav, just to keep a time check. So basically what? अभी 30 minutes रखना है. फिर उसके बाद में हम लोगों को कितना time है?
30 minutes के बाद हो जाएगा 45. We'll be at 6:15 approximately, right?
Yeah. And 6:15. Then we come back. Then you do 6:15 to 15 minutes again. The remaining last part and 15 minutes open for questions. Then sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I think everyone is in their rooms to work. If you want to move to any room, you want me to put, or you want to stay here also, that's fine. There are many rooms to jump.
I'm actually not very sure. How do I jump across these rooms?
I can put you one by one in different rooms. Okay.
Okay. So would we wait for the questions because 40 minutes
wait for the questions. जा तो पाएंगे नहीं. तो मतलब भी नहीं.
So Whenever there are questions, you can put both Angad and I into the room, and we'll just have a.
Yeah, I don't know how to give the room to come out to ask questions, basically. I think. And then they can join back.
Probably you can just announce it. If you have questions, you can just pop out of the room.
Okay.
But then everybody should not come.
Let them work on the problem, and then all questions anyways together we will address. Right?
Yeah.
The idea is honestly a lot of questions will happen because you pop up the sheet. But till that doesn't happen, it does not really, solve the purpose. Okay, this is the first experiment. I'm excited that it's fucking dikhte.
I really want to see what happens when they come out. But if they have any questions about the sheet, what will they do?
They will, when we close the thing, they'll come back and then ask us questions. That's the idea.
मतलब ऐसा ना हो कि वो कुछ भर ही नहीं पाए उसके चक्कर में.
वो तो पहले ही पूछ लिया. मुझे लगता है ऐसा क्या प्रॉब्लम है? इतना भी गंदा एक्सप्लेनेशन तो नहीं था. मतलब लोग को समझ.
I hope. तो मैं भी थोड़ा सा वो पहली बार मैंने ऐसा कुछ किया, so I'm also little.
Yeah, it's okay. This will not be a problem. We've done this before, not so breakouts multiple times and people to talk to each other. It's good. As long as they're not individuals. So when they're individuals, it's a little boring, but they're 2-3 people, it works. No problem.
Yeah.
Sharad, sorry, I'm just a little confused here.
No problem.
We have whatever reference video you've sent, we have to see, and based on that reference video, you put our take on it, right?
No. Why reference video?
No.
Which reference video are you referring to?
So creative references and sheet, basically. See, Ajit, that reference is just an example of how a brand has done it, right? For example, product benefit में जो reference है, I think B body wise का है शायद. So that's just an example. कि product benefit का एक example ये है, right? When you are talking about product benefit, you will, have your own talking point. So that is just for reference. You fill up the columns absolutely independently from those references. That is just to ensure that you understand what a product benefit creative or what a product USP creative is.
Yeah, sorry,
that's
I
just
got
to
it.
assist you. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'll just.
No, yeah.
We'll do some share some music. It'll be nice background music too. Odd. By the way, when you share on Zoom, you need to learn to share audio. तुमको मतलब एक checkbox आता है.
मतलब this is something that.
When you share your screen जब तुमको option दिखा ना, देखो नीचे में checkbox होता है, share sound. Make sure that is checked. Otherwise वो नहीं होगा. I think.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, now that happened, but that was the like what was it?
Yeah, I think it. So Zoom has more functionalities, but I think user interface Google का ज़्यादा straightforward.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no debate. The problem is because there's so much functionality, hence you can do so.
Yeah.
We've tried Google Meet also multiple times for breakouts.
Breakout होता ही नहीं ना उसमें. नहीं होता है breakout.
We have a paid plan, उसमें भी होता है, लेकिन the problem is it's not as good. मतलब it is buggy. Zoom क्या था because it's all software, ना? It is really good for solving that. और कुछ नहीं. Okay. Who was working here? We'll get some sound. One second. आ रहा क्या audio?
हाँ, आ रहा है.
Yes. I wonder this was a good format. And we'll know, basically making them watch the video before and then making them work in live.
Sorry?
making them watch the video before and then go live. I wonder if that is. I was going to test. Is it a better format?
Theoretically तो होना ही चाहिए. मतलब I'm sure value add.
Not anything, no question. Now when we close it, now it's more like a questions hand. ठीक है, मतलब तुम cover करोगे, then questions answer कर लेंगे. Yeah. Was it like difficult for you or monotonous because you had to complete one by one, or you would have liked question between those? Okay, ठीक है.
No, I think it was okay. It was okay because नहीं तो because already जो presentation थी उसमें flow बार-बार break हो ही रहा था. I didn't want it to break further. So एक बार पूरा cover हो गया, then questions was easier in this way. So I'm getting a few share requests. I'm just replying to them over email.
Yeah, or just share तो नहीं कर सकते ना, because problem हो जाएगा. तुम they can edit it.
हाँ नहीं वो नहीं हो पाएगा. I got it from
email and then just give the link of the thing. Please make a copy. नहीं और क्या कर सकते?
They already have the link. I'm just replying saying that make a duplicate of the sheet.
हाँ.
आप एक बार ना फिर से broadcast कर दो कि मुझे अभी 3-4 request आई हैं.
हाँ Sharad, you'll have to tell them to make a copy. Even I didn't know. After I made the copy, I was able to edit.
Okay, sir. I'll put it in the request. किसके नाम से आया था? मानव?
मैं बता देता हूँ, एक मिनट. I got one from Jitin. Jitin Grover. Okay. One from Mariam at Duhkar.
जितिन है, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, और next one Mariam.
Then Jitin tha, Mariam. Then there is Parag at Bond Reborn.
Mariam is which one? Mariam Polka Pop.
Mariam Rizvi Duhkar.
Polka Pop होगा. ठीक है. और बस ये 3 जन क्या?
3 का ही आया है, I think. हाँ 3 ही आया है.
ठीक है. I'll just tell them.
After I've made this, how do I share this with y'all? This sheet. I don't have to share it.
Right now, you need to make it, and then you will come up with questions which we hope to answer after you have done your work.
Okay, ठीक है. So it's just I'll just make it and keep it, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jitin will join that. एक बार आना, I'll just check in the room. Manav, basically I've asked for 2 minutes now for them to sort of wrap up. ठीक है? Fair enough?
Okay.
तो जब 6:30 हो जाएगा तो 30 मिनट लिए अपने 15 मिनट तो फिर क्वेश्चन पर लगेगा, फिर 15 मिनट तुमको लगेगा खत्म करने में, नहीं?
हाँ ठीक है, I think yeah. Abhi, do we take the questions right now and then go through the
agenda? कि वो top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. So first let's take question because that will be on the fresh of their mind, and that all questions will be related to. Honestly, if the questions are to do with top, bottom, middle, then say let's hold on. I'm going to cover that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if the questions are related to add content, let's cover that here. Okay. Yeah, Aarti.
How do we know which is top funnel? I mean, I don't do my ads, but I still want to understand.
Did you see the video, Aarti? First, the top.
I did see the video, but like in the ad creation, how do I know what
top? Don't worry.
segment?
We'll actually, when we come out, we will literally cover that. Where does which ad fall? Okay. So your question is where does which ad fall, right? Top, bottom, middle, make access.
Yeah, like how do I make that out in the ad campaign? Where does it fall?
Okay, so we'll cover that.
Yeah,
okay, awesome.
we'll just cover that.
Perfect. I have another question, Maanav. So typically, how many ads should one run? Like I am a nightwear brand for men, women, and kids. So should I run like minimum 3 ads, 1 for men, 1 for women, 1 for kids?
I think 3 se to zyada hi honge, and I think that distinction should not necessarily be in terms of just on the basis of men, women, and kids. So on the ad level, the distinction needs to happen basis audience, where the audience is in terms of with respect to how they've interacted with the brand. Either they've never interacted with your brand, have had some interaction, or have taken a high interaction. But within a campaign, so at campaign level, you have to decide on basis of the audience. Within a campaign, you can create multiple creatives, you can create multiple ads, even create multiple ad sets, right? So for example, you have put in some common interest, but you put in the filter of male, female, and let's say age in terms of 3 different ad sets. Then within these ad sets, you can then create multiple creatives. So there are 3 levels. There's campaign, ad set, and ads. Yeah. So basically ads are distinction between creatives, ad sets distinction between audiences, and then there are campaigns which are basically you can say that top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. How do you distinguish between those? So now in terms of creators, I don't think for you 3 creatives would be enough. I think you will need to test a lot more to actually get some insights out of this, right? That what sort of creators are working for what sort of audience. So for that, you would need a lot more. And because yeah, I'm saying something.
Yeah. So Facebook allows you to add up to 50 ads per ad set, but that is too large a number. You should not go that much. It also depends on how much budget your ad set is getting. So every creative requires a certain amount of budget to be tested to its significant potential. So if your budgets are constrained, if you're limiting your budget for example, if your cost of conversion is only 500 and a day, you're just giving 1,000 rupees a day budget. So I would not advise you to go beyond 3 to 4 creatives in one ad set, because the ads will not get that budget only
to perform.
So keep it small. Then your ads also need to be lesser. It is very much proportional to how much budget and what is the size of audience that you're targeting. So it is a blend of these 3. So
yeah. So now we are closing the rooms. So I just want to make sure everyone's back. And then Manav, you want to share your screen also, or we'll just take. I just want to make sure everyone's come back. Okay, great. Welcome back, everyone. I know we realize that there's never enough time, but the goal of this objective is to sort of get you started. So 2-3 things. I think there's a lot of questions which might have happened because you worked on the sheet. So just raise your hands and then we'll want to answer those questions, Maanav, and then we can move forward with the summary. Yeah, fair, Maanav, right? What do you think?
Yeah. Let's do that.
So yeah, who has a question? We can just unmute and ask, and then.
Hi Manav, Shefali here.
Hi, Shivali. Hi.
So we were just running across, all the content that we've created since the past couple of months, and what we noticed is that every month we run an offer. So be it in November, December, Jan, and now Valentine's Day. And in terms of our creatives, they sort of overlap. So maybe the first slide, and it's a carousel. So maybe the first slide shows the offer, and the second, third, or fourth slide shows more about the uniqueness of the product or the benefits. So how does that sort of work? Because then we sort of target to the middle and the bottom of the funnel.
Yeah, ideally that would work. So if your ad is completely focused on letting people know about your offer, so yeah, it makes sense to have the offer right at the beginning, and you can create a video out of this as well, right? So you can start the video by talking about the offer and then talk about the product benefits. But yeah, but this would work well for middle of the funnel. Would not work well for top of the funnel, because for top of the funnel they're not yet aware of the brand, so an offer is not going to help in any way. Yeah, but for if you have created a combination of offer plus USPs, right, in a carousel or a video, it could work well both at middle and bottom.
So what we primarily did is first run a couple of video view ads for the top of the funnel, and then retarget to the same audience and lookalike audience for the middle and the bottom.
So so ideally I would not try to push offers to an audience who has only viewed video.
No, so sorry, the creative for the view campaign is different, but we use that
I know.
Yeah.
So let's say I am somebody who has viewed your video, right? But I haven't really taken any other action. Right? So ideally you would not want to show an offer to me, because I don't yet have a clear idea about the product as well. Because I want to at least go to the website. You would want me to take some action before you would want to show me an offer. But if you are running, let's say, a website wide Valentine's Day sale, then yes, then you can do it for for somebody who's only viewed a video as well. But in cases where you're running particular coupons, right? For example, you have a specific 15% discount with this coupon, that should only be run ideally for people who have taken some sort of they visited your website, or they've initiated checkout or things like that.
Okay, just want to extend this for one more minute.
Shivali, don't mind if we'll have to move a little forward, because I want to make sure we cover this. We'll have 15 minutes in the end for specific
Okay,
Q&A.
okay, no problem.
Now, Maanav, I think a lot of questions might be specifically around where does that funnel fall in. So then let's cover that, and then we will continue with the questioning. Makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, let's do that. So yeah, let's talk about funneling the content, because as Sharad is also pointing out, you might have faced major challenges within that, where to place a particular content piece. So just again, quickly revisiting the funnel. Top of the funnel are people unaware of the brand, have had no interaction with the brand. Middle of the funnel, people have had interaction with the brand, but taken no high intent action, have not even, let's say, visited your website. So these are basically video viewers or content engagers. And then bottom of the funnel are recent website visitors, past purchasers, recent add to carters, or or people who have initiated checkout. So this is the broad distinction between top, middle, and bottom. So now let's look at how all of these buckets can fit into this funnel structure. One caveat here: the structure that we are talking about generally works broadly for, I would say, 85% of the brands. But if there are certain particular use cases where you think that what has been shown here does not apply to you, or you think that there needs to be a certain change to the structure to suit your brand, that is absolutely fine. These are general guidelines. These are not set in stone, but this is a good starting point for sure. So let's talk about top of the funnel first. On top of the funnel, obviously product benefits work really well, because that's where you're introducing the product to the user. Problem to solution also works very well, because if you're starting with a keyword which makes sense to the user, right? Like, for example, we talked about the example where we talked about reverse graying. So problem to solution works very well at the top of the funnel, because these are catchy ads, because the content is something which will strike a chord with the user. Displaying the range of products again works very well at the top of the funnel because it allows the user multiple entry points into your brand. Now, middle of the funnel, a lot of times, a single video view is not enough to establish the benefit that your product has. So you can run another ad at the middle of the funnel as well to highlight your product benefits. Problem to solution also works well at middle of the funnel because, you know, maybe I have just had one interaction with your brand and I'm a video viewer, but I still don't have enough information about your brand. So you can still, you know, fire a product benefit or problems to solution creative towards me. Ease of use or assimilation works very well because these are the creators which are trying to reduce the entry barrier, right? Like, you know, even if, once you buy this product, your experience is going to be so fantastic with it that you should definitely give it a try. So hence, middle of the funnel for works, ease of use creators work well in middle of the funnel. Obviously, again, product USPs, how is your product different from competitors? Middle of the funnel, it will work really well because you've given an introduction to the product. Now you're deeping diver into why is it better than others or how it does what it does, right? User testimonial videos, again, middle of the funnel, these work well. Why we are saying video and not static is because middle of the funnel are people who have interacted with your brand. So here, if you're using more videos, you are again populating a larger audience of video viewers. So using a lot of videos at middle of the funnel makes more sense because with video views, you create a custom audience at the back end as well. So that ways, you know, videos would work better. We'll use the statics at the bottom. So bottom of the funnel obviously offers coupons targeted at specific audience work well. And like we were discussing, you know, if you've got a sale which is, you know, website wide and it's not targeted at somebody specific, then you can run an offer based ad at the middle as well. Would not still be recommended at the top. Ease of use assimilation would again work well at the bottom because, you know, for people who are sitting on the fence about your product, maybe talking about how easy it is to use may push them towards buying it. User testimonials static work well, get good CTRs and, you know, help conversions as well. Videos and statics both at the bottom. So at the bottom, obviously user testimonials work very well because it creates trust. So people who are sitting at the fence because they still don't trust whether the product will work, user testimonials sort of act as that social proof that, you know, it does work. So again, this is a broad guideline. This was discussed in the video as well of how you can place your content. But obviously, there might be use cases where you might disagree with this arrangement. But the basic logic remains, right? You need to think from the perspective of the user, where he is with respect to your brand and with respect to interaction with your brand. And at that point, what type of content would make the most sense to him or her. So that's what we are targeting. And that's why basis that this entire structure has been created. Now, if you look at the sheet and if you've filled your sheet, if you've made, if you've ticked some of the checkboxes at the top of the middle, top, middle, and bottom, and if you've entered talking points at least within the creatives, in the second tab you will see that you have this ready-made sort of structure where you are getting a gist of that what all talking points you are covering within top, middle, and bottom. What ads you have basically placed on each of these parts. It'll basically auto populate on the tab that is there on the worksheet. So you can click on the second tab and you will see some of that has been already been populated automatically. There is a column that I have left here, which is audience to be used. This is something that you can, you know, fill up later. So within top of the funnel, let's say for product benefit, which is the audience that you want to use here, is something that you can fill up here because that will give you an entire picture of how your ad account is now going to be structured. Now, how does this help?
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure that people have understood this. So the sheet that you have filled up, there's another sheet next to it called final. If the sheet is filled up correctly, automatically this final sheet gets made. And this is sort of helping you understand for all the ads that you put in, which ads fall under top, which ads fall under middle, which falls under the bottom. And then ultimately, Amanav's point is also to assign an audience to it. So I want to make sure that's the idea of filling up the sheet to sort of get your campaign structure right on Facebook, to be able to aligning it with the user journey. Fair, Manav? Yeah, now you can go on.
Yeah. Perfect. Now, how does this help? Why do we go through all of this? Why do we do this exercise? So there are a few pointers. One, you are following a sniping approach instead of a spray and pray. You are targeting a particular user with a particular communication that you think will strike a chord with him, basis where he is in his user journey, right? So you know precisely what you are saying to a person who has just viewed your video versus a person who has visited your website. So you are basically having particular, very pinpointed inputs in terms of a audience creative combination. Second, you reduce vulnerability to market variations if you run ads only on the top of the funnel, right? If you're only targeting people who have never interacted with your brand, you are completely open to market variations. So tomorrow, let's say the festive season hits, and all the big brands start spending a lot, and they are vouching for the same set of people that you are vouching for, because these are just general audience, they are not your captive audience. Then when the CPMs start going up, your ads will stop performing because your CPMs will suddenly shoot up and your ROS will go down. Hence, it is very important to have the ability to nurture the captive audience who has in some way or the other shown interest to your brand, and hence always having some ads in the middle and the bottom of the funnel running becomes very important, because that helps you populate this set of captive audience that you can utilize at any time. So whenever there is a high season and the CPMs are going high on top of the funnel, you can reduce the spends there and start spending more on your middle and bottom to get more conversions out of these people. So that ways you are able to sort of protect yourself from the market variations as well. You have now a larger canvas to run experiments because you have defined your set of audiences basis the user journey. You have also defined creative categories. So now you can create a number of permutations and combinations and keep running experiments to figure out what creative category or what type of creator is working out well for what type of audience. And the reverse of this is also true, that at any given point, if a campaign has stopped performing, you know that, okay, this audience, which is at the top of the funnel, is now not responding to, let's say, this creative, right? So maybe I need to change the creative because my CTRs have gone down. Or you would know, what is happening right now is that at the top of the funnel, the CPMs have gone up, while at the middle and bottom, they have remained fairly stable. So right now I need to maybe cut down a little on my spends on top and start focusing more on middle and bottom. So you'll be able to diagnose exactly where things are going wrong, what part of the funnel, and what creators are working or not working. So that ways, broadly, how it helps you is to help you get pinpointed answers instead of just generic thoughts that XYZ is not working. Just I'll do this very quickly because then we can open for answers, and yeah, we are within time, I think. So what I had said in the beginning as well, right? The idea of running, let's say, only top of the funnel ads, or let's say only top and the bottom and ignoring middle completely, is not something inherent with brands that are starting. It is also inherent with a lot of brands which are established. In fact, the brand that I'm talking about here is a brand that has also expanded to US market, and still they fell into this trap. Yeah. I think guys, if you can mute, I can hear somebody. Sorry. Yeah. So if you look at this, there are certain. Okay, all of these are campaigns. The first column in all of these tables are campaigns, and you'll see some of these have been highlighted. Now, if you look at the journey from April to September, what has happened in this brand is, in April, if you look at the amount spent across campaigns, you'll see there is a good spread across different types of audiences, different types of campaigns. But there are 2 to 3 campaigns which are performing much better than the others. And you can look at the performance from the cost per result, right? In May, a new campaign which was started performing better than the campaigns which are performing best in April. So those campaigns, these blue ones, sort of moved down in the ladder, and a campaign which had suddenly started giving very good performance went to the top. It has the highest spend, which is 28 lakhs of spend on the top performing campaign. Then when they moved to June, there were again 2 new campaigns which were started, which had started performing very well. So these 2 campaigns started getting maximum of the spends. The third best performing was also getting some spends, and the next ones were also getting some spends, but it was highly skewed towards these top 2 performing campaigns, which is usually fine. Now, an interesting thing about these top performing campaigns also was that these were top of the funnel campaigns. So absolutely open to market variations. If tomorrow the CPMs were to go high, these campaigns would stop performing. During July, August, and September, what basically happened was that the entire sort of spends went into the top 2 performing. You'll see contribution on results. If you look at the last column, you'll see 84% of the results were coming from these top 2 campaigns, and the rest all campaigns were sort of now ignored. They were hardly spending 6%, 4%, 3% on the other campaigns. These top 2 performing campaigns were top of the funnel campaigns. And once we entered October, and around October, November, December, across India and across US also, brands start spending because the holiday seasons have kicked in. Now, once the holiday season kick in, the CPMs go high, and now these top 2 performing campaigns stop performing altogether because the CPM suddenly shot up, and they did not have anything to fall back on. They had no middle of the funnel, they had no bottom of the funnel campaigns going on. So if you were this brand at the end of September with your top 2 performing campaigns which have suddenly stopped performing, you would have nowhere to go because you have not created any other part of the funnel. You've only developed the top of the funnel because that was working well. So that's the point. You cannot as a brand stop once you see that there are 2 or 3 things which have started performing. At this point, you can't just stop experimenting. You need to keep experimenting to find the next winner. Because if you don't do that, and there will always come a point when your top performing campaigns will stop performing, you would have nowhere else to go. And hence it's very important to have this complete funnel in place so that even if one part of the funnel is faltering, you have others to fall back on. So yeah, again, if you don't follow a full funnel strategy, you might end up in a soup where there's nowhere to go. So yeah, that was the theory bit of it. I think we can now take questions.
So I think let's start with Prachi. Prachi, so raise hands and we can ask questions around this. So I want to make sure. Yeah, so Prachi, you want to start a question?
Hi. Yes, thanks. So firstly, I just want to say quickly that I'm finding this very useful. And for testimonials, I specifically had a question. So if sites already have testimonials on their landing pages or on, other prominent, portions of the site, should the user still target, testimonial videos or testimonial static ads for the middle and the bottom of the funnel?
Yes, definitely. Because when you're running ads, you're reaching out to a broader audience, right? Out of those, the people who are only coming to your website are the ones right now who are seeing your testimonials. Whereas there is a set of people whom you're targeting who have not yet bought because there are trust issues. They don't really know whether the product works, and you're not showing these testimonials that you already have to these guys. So by maybe showing these testimonials, you might be able to bring them to the website and show them a lot more. But yeah, whatever creative assets you have, you've spent a lot of time and energy in building those. You should definitely showcase them within these ads because that's a broader reach.
Okay, thanks. And my second question, actually, I've just put in the chat also that if we are established on marketplaces, but we've not yet started out spending a lot on our own sites in terms of ads, then, is it a no-brainer? Do we start with top of funnel, or if we have customer data from sales, then do we target MOF and BOF as well?
So if you have customer data, just phone numbers, then there are 2 things that you would need to do. One, you start with a broad interest-based audience because that's a good starting point to have. Once you start that, you will start getting some conversions, and you can then create a custom audience out of these conversions as well. The second thing that you can do is that you can use the database that you have to run bottom of the funnel ads, and also create lookalike of this database to run another campaign at the top of the funnel. Right. So by the end of it, once you have this sort of starting spark, your different parts of the funnels will start feeding each other. As your conversion campaigns start running and start giving you a bigger set of people who've already converted, your lookalike audience size starts to grow as well. So the bottom of the funnel in a way is also feeding the top because you are creating lookalike based on these core audiences. And your top is obviously feeding your bottom.
Right.
And once you start running ads, you will also see that you also have a healthy middle of the funnel developing. Then you can start targeting them as well. But yeah, good starting point would be broad interest-based audiences. If you have customer database, definitely target that and create lookalike of these,
Right.
so that you have good enough variation at the top of the funnel as well.
Got it. Thanks so much.
Mamta? Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I have two questions. One, what are the best practices to measure both the quality of content or the audience? Because a campaign may not perform very well because of either of the two factors. So, how do we continuously separate that and evaluate that on a regular basis too? That's my one.
There are 2-3 things. So, with respect to audience, where you might be going wrong is that the audience size is not big enough to actually get anything out of the campaign. So that you will see, if a lot of your campaigns are in the learning phase or limited learning phase, that means you are definitely not either you either don't have a big enough audience size, or you're not giving enough budgets to your creators to perform. Secondly, within an audience, if you know for sure that okay, the audience size is good enough, the campaigns have come out of learning phase, but you want to sort of analyze whether the creative is working well for this audience, then CTRs are a good measure of that. If you're not getting CTRs above 1.5, then there's something definitely wrong with this combination of audience and creative. So it's very difficult to judge either the audience or the creative in isolation. Yeah. You will always have to judge a audience creative combination. That's what you're judging, right? So whether an audience creative combination is working or not can be detected from CTRs, or can also be basically if it's a conversion campaign, can also be analyzed from the number of conversions that you're getting, right? Angad, if you have anything to add at any point, please do that.
Absolutely.
I think Mamta, the second question, which is more like around between top, bottom, middle, what's sort of the percentage allocation which someone should think about? Is that fair?
No, my second question is, do brands measure how long does it take for a user to enter, to convert, to move from top of the funnel to bottom of the funnel? Is there an exercise brands do? And if they do, what do they do with this kind of data?
So yeah, basically brands do have data on purchase cycles. What usually that helps you decide also is that how long do you give your campaigns to perform? Right?
Yeah.
If you started a new top of the funnel ad, and let's say within 7 days you decide that it's not working, but maybe the purchase cycle is longer, right? Maybe you need to give it enough breathing room to sort of start giving you enough audiences. So yeah, brands do track the time. So you won't be able to track individual users, right? But you would be able to see that that an audience which is feeding my bottom of the funnel ad, how long does it take my bottom of the funnel to start performing? That gives you a fair idea that how long does it take for enough people to flow from the top to this bottom, right? So that way you get a fair idea, and it's all estimation. Obviously, there is no way to pinpointedly figure out what is the purchase cycle. But yeah, it helps you in deciding how long do you want your campaigns to be able to give them enough space to breathe and perform, right?
Okay, perfect.
So that's
make sure we cover time. Other people also, so Jitin and then Akanksha, but also other people also just put a question in chat because Angad is there to answer. So we want to make sure everyone gets an answer. So yeah, Jitin. Unmute, please. Yeah.
So I was trying to think of this. Can I create a top of funnel thing in YouTube, but later on create mid of funnel ads for the group that has seen the video?
Absolutely.
It's possible.
So yeah. So basically, what happens there is, and this is something that we briefly touched upon in the video as well. A lot of brands do this, that they utilize either YouTube for top of the funnel ads, or also search keywords to sort of target intent. Make these users land on a particular landing page. Place your Facebook pixel on this landing page as well. Now, whenever somebody lands on this page, the Facebook pixel will always fire up, because Facebook pixel basically works on the basis of whether a particular URL has been hit by a particular user. So if Facebook is able to sort of capture this guy on its platform as well, you will be able to target him. So the entire idea is that whatever landing page you are using, one, you will have to use a landing page in order for these two platforms to interact with each other. Second, Second, whatever landing page you're using, you'll have to place a Facebook pixel on this landing page in order for your audience to be populated on Facebook.
Understood. So what I'm trying to do is, there may be a saturation in showing products to people who have never heard of my brand. So if we would say, give them some ideas around natural parenting, we are a natural skincare product brand. So say, how do you react if your child falls? So if there's a video around that, that can be pretty interesting for a new parent. And then, so he's got some value out of Earth Baby, and then we start showing them some product. Is that
No,
something?
absolutely. That works a lot of times, especially with products which need a certain level of educating the audience. If you're offering is something new, if you're offering is something unique, you would need to educate the audience about how you are different, right? So in that case, it is generally advisable also to first figure out the interest and then show them the product. And we've done this with a few brands in the past, and it has worked out decently well. So the first touch point is not about selling at all. It's about educating, and then you start selling by showing your products and establishing that your product is an answer to the problem that has been posed in the first video.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Akanksha? Yeah.
Hi, so I'll just quickly get to it. So we're a kids clothing brand, and like previously discussed, apparel would not have particular USPs. So we have other branding sort of USPs. So say eco-friendly packaging, or that with every order we plant a tree. So where would this kind of communication? I mean, which part of the funnel would the audience be interested in knowing this?
So so this was something that I was also discussing about. One, if there are no outright product USPs, right? Like I think somebody was saying that my product USPs are something which, if I state out just like that, organic cotton, it's not something that will catch a user's attention. So first of all, you have to think of a story around your USPs, right? Why is this packaging important for a user? That is a question that you will need to answer, and then project that to the user. Now, who do you target? Ideally, I would use this type of communication to a lookalike audience. Why? Because lookalike audience of your past purchasers are people who are similar to people who have already bought. And these people would have certain characteristics which make them sensitive to these issues, right? For example, sensitive to the fact that this cotton is organic, or sensitive to the fact that the packaging is eco-friendly. And then I show them this product. This becomes my top. I'm showing them the benefit at the top. And then I see that the people who have interacted with my video long enough, I start showing them now product specific sales or product specific USPs, or product specific ads. So that's how I would approach it. Create your custom audience of past purchasers, create a lookalike of this audience at the top. Now start showing them your benefits, because highly likely that they would be sensitive to this, and then feed your funnel from there.
Got it.
But yeah, you need to figure out a brand story. You need to figure out a way of communicating this in a impactful manner. That's the most important.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Prashant, and then Deepa. Yeah. Prashant, you're muted. Or maybe, yeah. Muted, actually.
Yeah. So part of my question is already answered for cross-platform funneling. So what happens, like say we make them aware, we make them consider, and for the bottom funnel, people might be going to the e-com platforms. So we are not aware if that is working or not. So how do we manage that part of content and advertising? And also, is there a standard list of funnels tracking list, like what parameters should we track for each funnel, and the range of that, like say CTR should be between 0.5 to 1.5.
Yeah. So that's something. Okay. So I'll take up the first part of the question first. Yeah. So it happens for a lot of brands that all the education and all the intent building happens on Facebook, then the final purchase happens on Amazon, right? There is no direct way of correlating your campaign performance with your Amazon ads. But what we do usually is that, let's say there is a brand where this happens 80% of the time. So 80% of the sales right now are focused on Amazon. I would run some bottom of the funnel campaigns, even redirecting people to Amazon also. Secondly, how I track that whether the expenses that I have made on Facebook are helping me out overall is to track the differential between different time periods, right? So I was spending 50,000 on Facebook. I was getting X number of sales from Amazon. Let's say I've started spending now 70,000. I've included more parts into my funnel, more videos, more layers. Are the sales either rising on the website or on Amazon, right? You would see that differential happening, but there is no direct way of correlating because you can't track that on Amazon. So there is no direct answer to it. But yeah, you will have to.
Yeah, sorry, Manav, I want to share a thought because Prashant, this is a very common problem for even, let's say you were selling brands offline, right? And you want to attribute, has my online advertising really helped in a conversion even on an offline channel or a marketplace? One strategy which worked really well is actually done by Atomwork, and it was shared in a session before, which is like Atomwork sells fans on Amazon. So they're basically, when you make a purchase, they give you a warranty card. So the warranty card has a QR code which you need to sort of scan to be able to be eligible for the warranty. Now, the idea is when they scan the QR code, they land on a page on your website where you could put the conversion tracking pixel. So there you could attribute, again, from a conversion perspective, where was the ad originally shown to, and then you are able to allocate branding to offline ads as well as branding to marketplace purchases. But I mean, like, it's not a direct answer, but it's a hack which has worked very nicely for electric companies. I think you're in, Rakura, so I think we should definitely do that as an idea.
Yeah. Sure. We'll do that, Sharad.
Yeah. Next question. Sorry, Deepa. Yeah.
Hi, Manav. So, but the question is, the top of the funnel. Do you suggest that we stick with video views, or do you say go for purchase? Like, do you say that?
Yeah, that's an important question. So, when you're beginning, right, when you have very limited budgets, I would say even at the top of the funnel, start with some conversion campaigns. Why? Because that helps you sort of narrow down which are the people who are actually interested in my product. Now, once you have this custom audience of past purchases, you can repopulate your top of the funnel by creating a lookalike of these audiences. And then in the next stage, right? So first you started with conversion ads at the top of the funnel to get some people at the bottom. Now that you've got some people at the bottom, you use this audience to create lookalike audiences to refeed your top of the funnel. And now, because you've started getting some conversions, you would want to expand your budget, you would want to expand your funnel now. Now you start going into different objectives as well. For example, traffic, for example, video views, and other objectives as well. But when you're beginning with limited budget, it's okay to focus everything. Like I said in the beginning, the strategies that we were discussing in the beginning are not wrong. They're good starting points a lot of times. But then by the end of it, when you're expanding your funnel, when you're going from a 1 lakh spend to a 5 lakh spend, you would need to have all parts of the funnel in place. But you have to begin, start with a conversion campaign, have enough people at your bottom, and then create lookalikes for
how would you define
from these
enough?
audiences.
What would you define as enough?
So on a custom audience, you would need to have an audience size of at least 10,000 to begin with. 10,000 does not need to be all past purchases. These 10,000 can be add to carts and initiate checkouts as well. But once you have this size of 10,000 people at your bottom, you can now start creating your top of the funnel lookalike audiences as well.
Can you just repeat that, Maanav?
Yeah.
So what's the 10,000 at the, after having gone through
10,000 at the custom audience level.
Okay.
So let's say you have a custom audience set of add to carts. You have a custom audience set of people who've initiated checkout and past purchases.
Okay.
Obviously, past purchases will take some time to reach that 10,000 number, but you will have 10,000 at the add to cart level.
Okay.
Fairly good enough, fairly soon enough.
Okay.
Then you can start creating your lookalike. So I would give a benchmark of 10,000 to 15,000 for a custom audience to make it eligible for creating more lookalikes.
Thank you.
Okay, just I think Karan, has your question answered in chat or it's still pending?
So yeah, I have one more last question. So again, about like, as you were saying, I was watching the video also before the meeting. So in the end, as you were talking about, I am still uncertain about if when the ads come out of the learning phase, if they're not doing well, should we stop them there itself, or probably risk it out for another month and then probably take them down? So could you more elaborate, or give more suggestions on?
Okay, I'll give a broad understanding of what learning phase is. Learning phase for any campaign is a phase where the campaign has not had 50 conversions. Conversions does not necessarily mean purchases. Conversion means whatever objective the ad is running for. So for example, if you're running it for video views, as soon as it gets 50 video views, it will come out of learning phase. Now, this needs to happen within a 7-day window. If it does not happen within a 7-day window, it will go to a limited learning phase.
Okay.
Whenever you see that a campaign has been in the learning phase or limited learning phase for a very long time, you need to check it, two things. One, for the objective that you're running this ad for, is the audience big enough? Second, the objective that you're running this ad for, are you dedicating enough budget to it? Right?
Yeah.
So let's say you're running for conversions, and usually this happens for conversion campaigns, that the campaign stays in limited learning for a lot of time. So let's say your conversion campaign has a CPA of 100, right? And you have put a daily budget of 500 on this. You are in no way ever going to get more than 5 conversions in a day. So you will never hit the 50 mark within 7 days. So your budget, because of your cost per acquisition of 100, is too low. So you need to increase that. But let's say you see that your basis, your cost per acquisition, your budget is fine, then you need to look at the audience size and look at expanding that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how you look at it. Some cases, what we also do is that if a campaign is not performing well for purchases, we, for a little while, we change the objective to add to cart and let it perform for add to cart, so that you get at least a lot of audience within that. Create a new campaign which is targeting these people who have added to cart.
Okay.
So that basis, instead of directly taking people to conversion, now what we have done is we've split it into 2 parts. We first optimize for add to carts, and then all of those who have added to cart, we start sending out, let's say, a coupon to them and drive them towards conversion. So that's one way of doing it.
So something like this is happening.
If you don't mind, we'll have to go on. I just want to make sure. If you want to put a question in chat, we can answer that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll do that.
Ishan, last question. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, Maanav. Hi. I have a question regarding managing the product range part of the component of like content around promoting range of products. So, for example, if you're dealing with a sector where there's many categories that you're dealing with as a brand, like my context is home decor. I have a home decor brand of my own. So you have decor, you have tableware, you have home linen. When you're targeting the top of the funnel, do you start with just using one category and then drilling down and using multiple products within that category, or do you promote all that you have to offer at once? Your take on that?
Two things that you can do. One is for particularly brands which have a lot of categories and a lot of products within these categories, a good way to start is with dynamic ads, because dynamic ads basically borrow from your entire catalog and show ads, highlight products which are very useful to this particular user, right? So that's one way. But let's say you're not right now, you've not yet established your catalog, you're facing challenges with dynamic ads. What I would do as a makeshift solution right now is that the first level of ad will be talking about all the categories, right? So the first carousel, let's say, will talk only about soft decor, right? Bed sheets and all the soft decor. Then you've got your lamps, you've got your tables, you've got your chairs, you've got all of these. Each of this carousel frame will have a particular landing page, right? So now you will start getting traffic on individual landing pages. Create custom audiences from these and start targeting them with those particular products, right? So all of those who've landed on, let's say, the soft decor page, now give them the breakdown of that category. Target them with the carousel, which shows what different types of bed sheets or other pillows or things like that you've got. Those who have landed on, let's say, tables, show them the various types of dining tables or study room tables that you've got. So basically, you're again splitting this into 2 parts. First, taking users to a particular category basis their requirement. Then once you know which category they've landed on, now showing them the range of products that you've got within that category as well. But
just a better way to do this is just a technical question on that. When we have a broad audience that we are targeting on each one of the category landing pages, then we aren't going to be able to segment which user has landed on which landing page. So
you will have to create different landing pages in this case, and a lot of times we create landing pages which are not really live on the website but are only linked to particular ads, and that needs to be done. So there was an example of capturing people from YouTube and recapturing them on Facebook. A lot of times we need to create customized landing page for these audiences as well. So you will have to be very open and flexible with your landing pages. That's for sure. For a brand which has so many categories and products, you will have to be ready to create a lot of landing pages depending on how you want to segregate your audience.
Right. Thanks.
Okay, great. So first, I just want to sort of summarize a few things. I hope this was a great session from a point of view of getting things done. I hope a lot of time was spent in sort of building that sheet for you. I know we can't complete the sheet, but the idea is that sheet might have forced you to think, might have forced you to structure your thoughts, right? It might have made you sort of ask a lot of questions, right? What we are doing, or re-question whoever is working on your Facebook ad campaigns, are we doing this the right way, right? And then you're able to ask the right questions to sort of evaluate or diagnose later where the problems lie, right? So remember, if every time when I interview a lot of people, if the objective is, like iOS 14, right? But maybe the better answer would be which campaign is not really performing well, which we should really double down on or work on. So that being said, I hope, it gives you an answer. And a lot of those sessions, which we already cover, is more around the fact that the importance of experimentation. It's never that we have a right answer, but the idea is the process of experimentation helps you come to the right answer or remove the ones which are invalid, right? But having not run an experiment, you will never know what worked, what didn't work, right? So yes, we can give you suggestions on what ads might try, you should not try, but the idea is always run experiments which are short, and digital allows you to do that, right? To sort of make sense. That being said, obviously, I want to sort of thank Maanav for taking out time for doing this. And the way we do that, if all of you remember, is we sort of unmute ourselves. So two things: you have to turn on your video. So whoever is new, turn on your video, unmute yourself. Maanav has really taken out time for us to sort of answer. I hope a lot of questions this time got answered in chat also. So thank you, Angad. We put our hands in front, right? This is our first wedding workshop. I hope this was helpful for all of you. So whoever's not joined it, put your hands in front. Yes, Apurv, yeah, perfect. And we do a countdown between 3 to 1, and then we end with go team, right? So whoever's new, we basically follow that. So ready? 3, 2, 1. Go team! Go team, everyone. Thank you. Look forward to having some of you back on Saturday, and for some of you on our next Wednesday workshop. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
One thing, Sharad.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so can we get the email of the PPT that...
we will share that to the same email we gave the thing on the recording. Yeah,
all right, thank you so much.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye.
Sharad, just one thing.
Yes,
so we can get in touch with Maanav, right?
Yeah, we can get in touch with him. No problem.
Yeah. His email address is there. We've got it.
Jacqueline will connect you. Just tell
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Okay.
Bye.